Mostly taking the form of a one-on-one third-person boxing game, it's tempting to immediately dismiss ARMS as a knockoff of the boxing segment from Wii Sports. Upon closer inspection though, the two are in fact very different beasts. Whereas Wii Boxing could be played as a mindless waggle-fest, ARMS is far more tactical and nuanced due to the fact that the fighters are all equipped with long, stretchy, spring-like arms. Every time a punch is initiated, your fighter's arm curves off towards your opponent on an uninterruptible trajectory. This essentially means that random waggling won't work, as sending off both arms leaves you wide open to enemy attacks. You can guard when you have control of both arms, and you can use your individual arms to block enemy punches head on. Add in a block-breaking grab move and a flurry of hits that can be unleashed upon filling the super bar, and what you're left with is a surprisingly strategic combat engine. Further variety is added by the decent selection of fighters on offer, all of whom have a distinct special ability and initial access to 3 types of arm. The latter range from traditional boxing gloves through to homing punches and a boomerang, and more can be unlocked using the in-game currency that's awarded for playing. ARMS' headline feature is its motion controls, which, for the most part, are pretty decent. The Joy-Cons do a great job of tracking blocks and punches, a far better job in fact than Wii Boxing ever managed. While their strength lies in the ease at which you can curve individual hits independent of one another, their Achilles heel lies in the difficulty and imprecision involved in getting your fighter to actually move to where you want them, making some of the mini-games particularly infuriating. In comparison, the standard non-motion controls make almost everything easier, although the motion controls are perfectly suited to the excellent local multiplayer action, provided of course that you have 2 pairs of Joy-Cons. We found ourselves returning to the standard controls in every other scenario. ARMS shares some of its developers with the superb Mario Kart 8, and this is apparent in many of its common features. The main single-player mode is called Grand Prix, and consists of a set of 10 events mixing interesting fights with the largely disappointing minigames, all of which you need to win to progress. There's also a solid replay mode available after every bout, albeit with no auto highlights picked out for you. Distinctly less welcome is the same terrible approach to teaching you how to play, with static text and pictures yet again buried away in the menu, along with a training mode that offers you virtually no guidance on how to actually train. This is hugely unfortunate and contributes to the surprisingly high learning curve thrown in your face when you attempt to graduate to a higher difficulty level. In terms of online multiplayer offerings, the usual variety of unranked matches are present, along with a ranked mode that doesn't unlock until you've completed the Grand Prix at level 4. When we tested the game prior to release, the netcode was solid and lag-free. Do keep in mind that Nintendo will eventually start charging for access to online play, although their recent announcement suggests that this won't be until 2018. As you'd expect from Nintendo, ARMS is bursting with polish when it comes to the presentation. The character design is great, offering a colourful lineup who all look and feel like distinct, individual fighters. The colour palette is bright and solid, and we didn't spot any technical issues at all in either TV or handheld mode. The level design is also diverse, offering up jump pads and destructible scenery through which to punch your opponents. The sound design, in comparison, is merely okay. As usual, there's no voice acting, and while the soundtrack is certainly cheerful enough, it's somewhat perfunctory and unmemorable. The biggest obstacle ARMS faces is the fact that it's releasing after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which, by any measure, is an incredibly tough act to follow. Whereas that game offered tons of content, perfect controls, a great learning curve, and hours of play even when solo, ARMS in comparison feels like it's setting the scene for what's to come. While we'd certainly recommend it for anyone planning on playing predominantly with the local multiplayer, we'd hesitate at saying ARMS offers enough compelling content for those who mainly be playing solo, particularly at the price point for which it's being offered. The promise of free DLC suggests ARMS may well be easier to recommend in a year or so, as the solo play in particular is surprisingly good fun while it lasts. While an alarming number of other reviewers seem to be assessing this game based on how it might be after the release of the free DLC, our policy is to review the game that you'll be receiving if you buy it now. As it stands, ARMS is currently a great combat engine with excellent multiplayer potential and a fun but slightly thin single player campaign patiently waiting for some meat to be stuck onto its bones. We're giving it a score of 75%, which on our review scale is good. ARMS is a surprisingly nuanced arcade boxer that feels like it's setting the scene for what's to come.